Hi, Year 8. We're talking about multiplying and dividing fractions. And this is Pepper, my black Labrador, and Max. Now, multiplying fractions is the easiest thing in the world. We have 3 steps. So we have 3/4 times 2/5, and all we do is we multiply across the top and we multiply across the bottom, and that gives us our answer. Shall we try it? Okay, let's do 4/5 times 3/6. Okay, so we multiply across the top and across the bottom. So we get 4 times 3 on the top and 5 times 6 on the bottom. Just using our times tables, that gives us 12 on the top and 5 times 6 is 30 on the bottom. Now we're going to simplify the fraction by dividing the top and the bottom by the same number, and 6 is a common number to 12 and 30. 12 divided by 6 is 2, 30 divided by 6 is 5, and there is our answer. Okay, here's one for you to do. 2/3 times 4/6. Stop the video, have a go, come back and see if you're right. Okay, so multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 2 times 4 over 3 times 6. That gives us 2 times 4, which is 8, over 3 times 6 is 18. So that's a correct answer. Now we can simplify that. Divide by 2. Top and bottom got to be the same number that we're dividing by here, same number. And that gives us 4/9. Excellent. Let's do some dividing by fractions. Now, dividing by fractions has this little saying: keep, change, flip. So let's do this example. 3/4 divided by 4/5. So we keep the first fraction, we change the sign to a multiply, and we flip the second fraction upside down. Then we've got a nice multiplication, which we can do just like we've learnt. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 4 is 16. So we keep, we change, and we flip. I'm going to talk a little bit about mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are where we have a whole number and a fraction, and they have a little bit of a different rule that goes with them when we multiply and divide. So this is a mixed number. It's got a 2 and a half, so a whole number and a fraction. 3 4/5, whole number and a fraction. 6 1/2, whole number and fractions. So these are our whole numbers here, and our fractions, I'll highlight those. Whole numbers, fractions are 1/2, 4/5, and a half. And I guess the opposite of mixed number is an improper fraction. And an improper fraction is where we have a bigger number on top. So we've got 8 over 3, and 8 is bigger than 3. 6 over 2, 6 is bigger than 2. 4 over 3, 4 is bigger than 3. So improper fractions and mixed numbers have slightly different rules when we add, subtract, multiply and divide. To multiply or divide mixed numbers, we need to change them to improper fractions first. So we can't do anything with a mixed number. We have to change it to an improper fraction first. So we better learn out how to do that. Okay, let's do a couple of practice ones. We've got 2 and 2/3. So we're going to change this to an improper fraction by going 2 times 3 plus 2. So 2 times 3 equals 6, plus the number on top equals 8. So we have 8 over 3. Remember, the 3 stays the same. And there's our improper fraction because the number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom. Alright, I want you to stop the video and have a go at doing the rest of these examples. Okay, so 3 times 5 plus 4. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 4 equals 19. So it's 19 over 5. And the next one, we're going to multiply 5 times 4 and then plus on the top. So 5 times 4 plus 2. Excellent. And the last one, 1 times 3 plus 1. So we get 4 over 3. Now you'll need your number skills booklet one. Okay, so find this page. We're going to do some examples together. 3/8 plus 1/2. Now you did this last lesson, so let's just do a reminder. We need to find the number on the bottom of the fraction. So we do 2 times 8, which is 16. And then we multiply the top by the opposite denominator. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 8 times 1 is 8. Add them together and we get 14 over 16. Now that's correct answer. You can divide by a common number, which is 2, and end up with 14 divided by 2 is 7, 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, now question B is a bit of an extension, but I'll show you how to do it. If we pop in some brackets, it makes it a bit easier. So let's just do the first fractions and then add in the third one. So 3 times 4 is 12, and then we go 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 2 is 8. Don't forget the negative sign in there. 9 minus 8 is 1. Okay, so now we've got 1/12. We're going to add in our third fraction, which is a half. So 12 times 2 is 24. 1 times 2 is 2. 12 times 1 is 12. And we end up with 14 over 24, which is the correct answer. Or we can simplify a little bit. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, now this next bit are exactly the same as these questions up here. But why don't you stop the video and have a go at them anyway? Now here's one with mixed numbers. So what do we do with mixed numbers? We change them to improper fractions. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 makes 5. So that gives us the fraction 5 over 2. Let's do it again. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 2 equals 7, and that gives us the fraction 7 over 5. So we're doing 5 over 2 minus 7 over 5. Okay, so we need our denominator. 2 times 5 is 10. Then we need to multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 7 is 14. 25 minus 14 is 11 over 10. Okay, so here's another question I'd like you to do. Stop the video, come back and check and see if you're right. So the bottom of the fraction is going to be 2 times 5, which is 10. On top, 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 7 is 14. Let's try the next one. Carter read 1/5 of the book during a flight from Melbourne and another 3/8. So we need to add together 1/5 plus 3/8. What fraction has he read? So, finding the common denominator, 5/8, and then multiplying the top with the opposite denominator gives me 8. 5 times 3 gives us 15. All up, 33/40. What remains for Carter to read? So he's got a whole book minus 33/40. So how many 40ths are there in a whole? Well, there's 40 40ths. So if we've read 33 of them, what's 1 minus 33 out of 40? 40 minus 33 gives us 7. So he's got 7 40ths to read. Let's do some multiplying. So multiplying across the fraction, 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 7 is 35. We're finished. Now we've got an improper mixed number. Remember, a mixed number must be an improper fraction to multiply. So we've changed it to an improper fraction, and now we're going to multiply across to get 12/15. Okay, during a season, Joe hit 2/5 of his team's home runs. How many of those are there? So Joe hit 2/5 of 40. Now the word of often means multiplying. So we're doing 2/5 multiplied by 40. 2/5 of 40. So how do we find out what 1/5 is? Well, 1/5 is 40 divided by 5. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. So 2/5 is 2 times 8, which is 16. So I'd like you to have a go at doing some of these questions from your textbook. Everyone has a different textbook, it seems, so I've put them up here on the screen. A couple of ones that I want to just explain first. So question G, a half squared. That's the same as going a half times a half. 2/3 cubed, 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. And I'm going to put an E next to this one for an extension. I'm going to put an E next to 8 for an extension, and E next to 7 for an extension. Great work, guys. After this, we've finished fractions.